Welcome to Type Tune Tint. I'm Tom Kranz. 20 years after the first video appeared on YouTube, today's guest has drilled down to the nuts and bolts of becoming successful as a YouTube content creator. Samantha Ulrich first became fascinated by the idea of using her Barbie dolls to create videos at age 10. Not only did she do it with her parents' blessing, she immediately figured out how to make money at it.
Can't believe in less than 24 hours, I'm giving Olivia Rodrigo a custom jacket.
Today, at age 20, Samantha is a veteran YouTuber making a living creating videos that have attracted more than 39,000 subscribers. She's launched a YouTube consulting business, written a how-to book, and will soon have her own line of clothing. This hardworking young entrepreneur has taken YouTube from those early days of staring into a camera to creating a modern community of followers who are fascinated by her on-screen exploits and are paying to see them. And I'm joined by Samantha Zazz from her palatial estate in beautiful Somerset, New Jersey. I'm always happy to talk to people from New Jersey because, you know, the whole rest of the world loves to hate and make fun of New Jersey. But we got some cool people who live here, right?
Exactly.
Like you and me.
Yeah. We're the coolest people.
Yeah. You all saw in my little intro that Samantha is... she's kind of a social media phenomenon. And look, we're two different generations. I'm obviously not your target audience, but Samantha's got like 39,000 plus subscribers to her YouTube channel. I wanted to just get right into it. So your online persona is Samantha Zazz, Z-A-Z-Z. There's a website. There's the biggest thing is your YouTube channel. It says on your website that you started your first YouTube channel at age 10. Why don't you talk a little bit about how you even got started? I mean, did you have a smartphone when you were 10 years old?
So I winded up buying a smartphone for the YouTube channel. But I started when I was 10 years old, and what made me start was, I grew up watching YouTube and, grew up watching people play with their Barbie dolls on camera and reviewing toys, and I always thought it looked like so much fun. And then I found out that you can make money from making YouTube videos. And then I also found out that those people that were playing with Barbie dolls, Mattel sent them the Barbie dolls. And I thought to myself, I can make money playing with Barbie dolls that are free that Mattel can send me. So I ran down the stairs to the breakfast table and I said to my parents, I want to start a YouTube channel.
I'm Sam, and this is my first video I am going to do on YouTube. And
my parents, they were thrilled about that because my dad, he's an entrepreneur, and my mom, she's always loved entrepreneurship because of my dad, and it's a topic that she's very interested in. So the two of them were like, all right, let's get it started,
So your parents were actually a positive influence here.
Yes, they are my biggest supporters. Their support, it meant everything to me, especially, when I first started. But honestly, now, making the decision, in high school to not go to college and pursue YouTube full time, it's crazy because YouTube is the future, and
I can see some parents
for it.
I can see some parents freaking out at that decision. So at age 10, they didn't have a problem with you like staring into a phone?
No.
I mean, look at all the people now who they don't want their kids to have a phone until they're, 11, 12. There's this arbitrary age but that was obviously not an issue for you.
Exactly. But honestly, it's when you're somebody like me that, all I am doing all day is I'm on the screen. You have to create a work-life balance, and this is something, even when I was 10 years old, I would have my dedicated time during the day where I would work on YouTube videos and, obviously watching YouTube videos, but like my parents and I'm an only child, and my parents, they're my best friends, so the three of us would have family time together every day. And, either, points of me going to play outside. And, even now, at 20 years old, I go outside and I walk twice a day, and I make sure that I am as much as I'm on the screen, I have moments where I'm not on the screen, because I don't want to rot my brain out.
Well, you have a
All
life.
day.
You have a real life also. I'm guessing that your parents also helped you kind of create a safe space, in
Yeah.
social media out there. It's creepy city
Yeah.
out there, and
Yeah.
hopefully you learn some stuff about, keeping yourself safe.
Exactly. I mean, again, they've taught me everything, I feel like. I mean, both my parents are very entrepreneur savvy,
Mm.
so that I learned from them. But I mean, my mom, I mean, she taught me, you know, pretty much like when I'd get a mean comment, she'd be like, "Don't cry about it. This is gonna be your future."
Mm.
And like both my parents, and especially my mom, she's my momager, I call her, and she's like my little sidekick. I, I tell her to work for me, and she'll film videos for me when I need her to. She's great, and there's been times where I've needed her to sew stuff too, and I'm just like, "Here, take this and sew it. I need your help." But she's always just been there for moral support, and she's always the person listening to all my wild ideas
Mm.
and is supportive of it. And same with my dad too. And he's the type, he tells me if it's legal or not to do
Ah,
it.
gotta have somebody
So
like that in your life for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
so my mom's like, yeah, and then my dad's like, yeah, but that's illegal, and this
Yeah,
is how you
but
need to do
exactly.
it to make sure it's not illegal.
You're age 20 now, so you're a 10-year veteran at doing YouTube videos already.
Yes.
Wow. Let me ask you this. So you said that at that age you were watching YouTube. Did you watch regular old-fashioned television as well?
Yes,
Okay.
I love watching TV. I am a
Okay.
big TV and movies person, and I love all forms of media. So, between that and watching YouTube, I was always watching something.
I got you. Yeah, me too. I've been sitting in front of lit screens since I was 2 years old in the 50s, which gives you an idea of how old I am. And of course, I grew up during a time when there was no nothing. There was no internet, social
Mhm.
media. There was no. I wrote a book about a story I covered in my former life in Philadelphia in the 80s, and being a news person in the mid 80s with no internet, no cell phones, it was like people of your age and generation probably can't even really wrap your head around that, but it was a totally different thing. So now you are for sure, 20 years into YouTube. YouTube celebrated its 20th anniversary actually
Yeah.
this month, April of 2025. Um, you are like the embodiment of what YouTube has become. You're kind of a creature of the medium. You found a way to monetize it. Do you, and then you decided to write books about it because you're actually pretty good at this. Tell us whether you actually make your living doing this. Is this what you do for money and this is what supports you?
Yes. So my YouTube channel is how I make my money and how it supports me. And that is something, you know, monetization on social media is something that people don't really talk about because it's something that's not really known yet. And I mean, YouTubers, in essence, it's digital real estate. Each video you put out is in essence like a rental property, and that video is paying you, but instead of every month, every day. And those are employees going out and just working until the end of time.
There's so many stories of videos going viral, and I even know somebody who he plays the accordion, and he and his girlfriend went to Germany some years ago, and he started playing the accordion at this place where cows were grazing. The cows
Uh-huh.
came to him because he was playing the accordion.
Oh
They
my
got this
god,
on video. They put it on YouTube. The freaking thing went viral. They're still making money off this one piece of video that
that's
I think was
awesome.
shot like 10 years. Yeah. So I think that there's this kind of notion out there that you need a single piece of viral video and that it's going to kind of happen by itself. And
Mhm.
you are basically, your knowledge and, what you know about monetizing it is really the direct opposite of that. You really need to work at it. And that's one
Yes.
of the things I admire about you at your young age. You seem to work your butt off at this. You do a lot of production, you do a ton of videos. I mean, a ton. What's your frequency? How often do you like shoot things and post them?
So I post once a week, usually every Friday. Sometimes it's twice a week. But I am filming and working on videos every single day. I am at my desk every day or out filming.
And so this is your living, and so that makes sense. That's what you feel
Yeah,
like you have to do, and you obviously love it.
I love it so much.
Yeah,
I eat, breathe, and sleep YouTube.
yeah, that comes across. So at one point you had this breakthrough. You're a fashion person, so you're all about clothes. You make clothes. You've made some custom jackets for some stars out there. Tell me a little bit about that. So you just got it in your mind to make a jacket for Olivia Rodrigo one time, and then try to
Yeah.
get. So how does that? How did that happen?
So I have the most random ideas and thoughts just like load into my head. And this is something that my parents, they've just always been used to with me. And, it started, I did one for Olivia Rodrigo, but the first one I did was for this actress, Millie Bobby Brown.
Oh yes, I've seen that one. Yeah, that was that one didn't end so great, right?
That one did not end so great.
Before I could give my jacket to Millie, security took my bag with the jacket. But what was even more crushing was the way Millie treated me. When we locked eyes, she looked annoyed at me. She didn't even comment on my outfit. And when I said hi to her, she stood in silence.
But it ended great YouTube-wise.
Oh really? You got a lot of viewers for that. Huh?
Yes. So, but, I think of, well, okay, if I make a jacket for someone that can, they like it, they might reach out to me and say, hey, can you make me something else?
Sure.
B, I'm getting a video out of it. And that's actually like a type of format that is used on YouTube called social hacking. And, I thought to myself, all right, I'm starting this fresh channel called Samantha Zazz. Nobody knows who I am. And quite frankly, no one's going to care who I am, so I need to do something and have someone that's known to get an initial hit on my channel. And so I saw that Millie Bobby Brown was doing an event in New York, and I said to my parents, I'm going to make her a jacket, and I'm going to go to this event and give her this jacket. And in that process, I made myself an outfit from perfume paper because it was launching her perfume and stuff. So that's what initially started it. And that video went viral. I had multiple videos with it, and it did amazing. And part of it was from the social hacking, but I think a big part of it was how it ended. So, but from that, I decided I said, all right, who's on like the A-list of people that, my audience, my clients, so to speak, would be interested in. And I said, all right, Olivia Rodrigo, that's somebody that everybody loves. And I knew somebody that, would go and like meet celebrities in New York. So he helped me get connected to the right place, to be at the right place at the right time, to run into Olivia Rodrigo. So, but all the people I made jackets for, like it was, all right, I'm going to make this person a jacket. How am I going to get to the event, or how am I going to get it to them? Right.
And that takes a certain amount of, excuse the expression, balls to just kind of show up at these things and say, I want to give this jacket to so-and-so. And
Yep.
we see a couple examples of that. It's like, wow, that's commitment.
Yeah.
Hi, Olivia, this is for you. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, yay. I'm glad you
Did you get it?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Cool. And then I made jackets for the winners of Dancing with the Stars, season 32.
Oh yeah, how did you get that? That was a pretty big deal.
Yeah, so that was a long story, but long story short, I winded up getting VIP tickets to the Dancing with the Stars tour because I knew that you were going to be able to interact and meet them. And I said, all right, I'm going to bring these jackets in and I'm going to give it to them. There was a whole debaclement that you weren't allowed to film it. And my sidekick, my mom, she was just like, I don't care.
I love that.
She was like, I don't care. It's getting filmed. And we filmed it and I gave them the jackets, and that one they had a huge reaction too. They went out on their social media and danced in the jackets and everything, and I was like, oh my God, like that's crazy.
Well, that's very cool. So you've already gotten kind of a foot into that world of kind of
Yeah.
celebrity access a little bit. And where do you see this going? I mean, we talked briefly about the fact, so you designed these jackets for these stars, and then you just kind of, on a wing and a prayer, try to present them to them. But do you believe you're going to be making more custom clothing, not just for celebrities, but is this a bigger part of your life, do you think, getting into fashion and actually creating stuff?
Yes, I am a big lover of fashion. I've always loved it growing up, and to be able to turn it into a business or turn it into, designing things for, one-time pieces that are extremely avant-garde for someone, I am totally in for and wanting to do. Because again, like that could be a video, so everything goes back to YouTube. But I'm working on a line of clothing right now to present in a fashion show, Creators in Fashion, at Vid Summit this September or October.
Okay, so
I'm
that's
very excited
October
about
of
that.
October 2025. Okay.
Yes. It's actually on my 21st birthday.
Wow. So folks, you hear it. She's 20 years old, for God's sake. She's been doing this for 10 years. She's making money. It's like, I see behind you, I see a partial something in progress there. Is that going to be one of your new pieces?
Yes. So this is just the start of it. It's going to be covered in flowers and jewels and all kinds of stuff.
Got it. All right. One of the things that stood out, and I think that was part of a breakthrough for you, was this dress you made out of Starbucks cups. It's like, okay, why? Number one, how did that enter your brain? And some of the video, it's like it seems like it was a pretty involved process. Tell us where that came from, and where'd you get all those damn cups, and what was that all about?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so this Starbucks cup dress goes all the way back. So I executed the dress at 19 years old. I came up with the idea when I was 17. So because Samantha Zazz, the YouTube channel, I started right after graduating high school, but throughout high school, starting my sophomore year, I actually started planning this YouTube channel and like strategizing and everything. So part of that was, all right, I need to come up with ideas. And I thought, I've always loved the unconventional material challenge on Project Runway. And I said, no one's really making content around that on YouTube. And I bet this could be something that could go viral. And I thought to myself, well, what's something that, is widely known that everybody knows about? And I thought Starbucks. And I said, what if I made a dress from Starbucks cups? That would be wild, because it's never been done before.
You just want a cup?
Yeah, just the cup.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I actually called the manager at my local Starbucks in Piscataway, and I said, hey, I'm making a Starbucks cup dress. I need Starbucks cups. I'm willing to pay anything for it. I need like about 300 cups. When can I get it? How much can I get it for? And she said, wow, that's awesome. She said, don't worry about it. I'm going to give them to you. Come in Thursday morning and you'll just get Starbucks cups.
Damn. And so how long did it take you to actually, I guess you had to cut them up and sew them? Or did you sewed them together, right?
Yeah. So it probably took about like a month and a half to make that whole dress because, it was the learning curve of not only making an outfit, but actually making it from Starbucks cups, the thick cardboard material, and that top of the gown, there's no fabric. I manipulated those cups to be like how a fabric bodice would be made, so that was an entire learning curve. And that was my first time making an actual like dress.
Oh, really?
So,
well, I guess you figure if you can make a dress out of cardboard cups, you can do anything pretty much.
Exactly.
Right? So you finish this dress, and then Did you just like show up at a Starbucks one day, or did you make some kind of arrangement to do an event?
Yeah, so I reached out to the manager again that gave me all the cups, and I said, the dress is done. I want to film in the dress. When would be a good time to come to your Starbucks to come and film in it? And, she gave me a time, and I showed up with the dress and I walked in, and just by that, like, I didn't really have to do much, and I got a ton of content from it because you had people coming and reacting and wanting to take photos, and it was such a fun experience. That day was so much fun, and I got to like go behind the counter and like look like I was making coffee, and like the employees made me a name tag. Like, it was just so much fun.
So, and that brings us to your books, which came out was it March or April of this year?
Yep.
Early of 2025. The YouTube Success Secrets YouTubers Won't Tell You, and its companion workbook, The Unofficial YouTube Growth Planner for Creators. These two books, folks, if you want to do it and make it in YouTube the way my guest has, you got to get these books because it's all in there. We're going to talk more about these two books and give you just a little bit of preview when we come back from this very brief, shameless self-promotion for my new science fiction book. Don't go away.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're back with Samantha Zazz, who has, she's written these two books about how to become successful YouTubers. It's almost like a penultimate kind of, she's such a successful person on YouTube, which, this podcast is about creativity, and I've interviewed authors and painters and musicians and some stage people. This is where creativity began. It began for her when she was 10, and she's lived her life in front of lit screens like I did, except she's really found a way to make, social media, YouTube, hers. And Samantha's really I'm talking to you about you in the third person here. You're the embodiment of like exactly what so many people aspire to and strive to do. So, talked earlier about the YouTube Success Secrets YouTubers Won't Tell You. This is the title of your first book. Why won't they tell you what the secrets are?
Well, because there is a science behind growing on YouTube. It's not just luck. And, it's funny because a lot of people think it's luck, but it's actually a science. I've always been the girl in school. Hey, you want to study here? Take a look at my notes, and this book is in essence, hey, you want to become a YouTuber? Take a look at my notes.
So this is everything you've learned. This is not
Yes.
wisdom from somebody fed you. This is what you know, and this is how you became successful. Is there is there a common thread to successful YouTube videos?
Yes.
What?
So every single YouTube video that you see that is successful, they all follow a format, a secret format, so to speak. And that format is hook, story, offer. And it's actually, if you think about it, that's actually like a marketing and selling strategy that businesses use to sell you, and YouTube is in essence the same thing. Your product that you're putting out is a video, and the consumers, the viewers, is instead of spending money, they're spending their time, and they're a lot more frugal with that than money, so, but each video follows hook, story, and offer. And my book, I go into all the subpoints to that because there's more to hook, story, and offer. It's like hook with like 5 subpoints, and then story, with 5 subpoints, and so on and so forth. But every video you see is going to follow this format.
Well, and so what would you say, or you've looked at a million YouTube videos, what are like the one or two mistakes that people very commonly make?
So I think the biggest mistake that I've seen people make in the videos that don't get as many views is all in their hook, because your hook is the most important part of your video, and that honestly will make or break your video, no matter.
It's like, it sounds to me like it's the lead of a news story. It's like the lead.
Yes.
It's what grabs somebody and makes them want to listen or
Yes.
read more.
Exactly. And, we live in a society today, with social media and with short form content, that people's attention spans are getting smaller and smaller.
Right here,
Same.
20 seconds maybe.
Like literally, I'm just always scrolling all the time.
Yeah, sure.
And, my parents, they laugh at me because they're like, your attention span's so small. And I'm like, I know, like this is an issue, but hey, that would be good for making videos.
Right. Sure. No, I totally get it. And that's something that I learned being in the news business and the TV business for a long time, which I then took with me later on. You don't catch people like the first 20 seconds, they're gone.
Yep.
They're either going to change the channel, or they're going to keep swiping, or they're going to scroll to something else. And that really, that kind of mentality served me really well as a news writer, and then later on writing and doing content for the internet and whatnot. You talk also about the viral secret hiding in plain sight. Would you care to share just a little bit of that secret?
This one is very juicy.
Okay.
This was the missing piece one that I learned from talking to another creator, and I was just like, wow, this was hiding in plain sight the entire time. That viral secret is your video's visuals. Visuals in your video is so crucial, because not just are you trying to catch a viewer that's actually listening to the video with their volume on, but there's so many people that watch videos that watch them on mute. So you need to also capture that person too. So that's one of the jobs of videos, visuals. But the visuals also, there's a lot of different jobs of a visual, so to speak. But another one is your video's progression. People want to get to the payoff. They and a visual can remind them the payoff is coming. Well,
it's like what I learned in, the visual medium of TV, and you have to really kind of take the viewer by the hand. You have to say, come with me now. Here's the first stop. Here's the next stop. And you have to do it in a way that doesn't make them feel stupid. And, for us, that always meant using simple language, explain everything, right? Don't throw a bunch of abbreviations and anagrams at people so that they don't feel stupid and feel like they have to change the channel.
Exactly. Oh my goodness, you are speaking my language right now.
Okay, will you hire me, please?
Yes. Let's
please recruit me out of retirement purgatory here. All right. So anyway, for those of you out there who want to know more, pick up Samantha's book, The YouTube Success Secrets YouTubers Won't Tell You, and its companion, the official YouTube growth planner for creators. They're both available on Amazon and elsewhere, I presume.
That's also available on Zazzify.com, which is my YouTube coaching program that viewers can join to grow their YouTube channel.
Oh, tell us about that. So this is your newest venture, basically, right? I mean, you just started this. So you actually coach people on everything we've been talking about right now.
Yes.
And how does that work? So they go to, the website is Zazzify.com.
Yep.
Putting it on the screen there. And when they go there, what should they look for?
They should look at, first of all, read everything on the site. Like, I was in a position where I had to figure this out on my own. And if I had somebody guiding me, that's priceless. Like, to me, I would pay anything. Little 10-year-old Sam, I'd be like saving up my allowance and being like, just guide me.
Well, it seems like now, 20 years into the YouTube generation, I guess, it's kind of high time that somebody like you comes along and says, here's what worked for me. This can work for you. And, instead of, doing what I do, which is just kind of make shit up as I go along and trial and error and more error than trial, et cetera, it's really great to have somebody who knows. And the fact that you can make a living at it, I admire this. I mean, this gets to the essence of what I always search for, which is the roots of creativity, how people come up with, their art, their music, their content in your case. And it's really great to me. A common theme in this podcast, which I've brought up, and my viewers know this very well, is, a lot of time people think they need permission to create something. They need permission to go out to Michael's and buy some paints and a canvas, or they need permission to write. You were 10 and you didn't seem to feel like you needed permission. You just went and did it. I also find it really fascinating that you started so young and that you just kept on going and going. And now at age 20, you're like, you're a veteran pro at this. That's really cool. Samantha Zazz is, as I said, that we're not the same generation at all, and I'm sure I'm not your typical YouTube viewer. But what you are is a person in my universe of creators, and this is the kind of creativity that I think we need to hear more about, because after 20 years, just pointing a camera at yourself and talking just doesn't make it anymore. You really have to be creative. The visuals, everything that you do it's just great. Anyway, I really appreciate you being with me. Keep me up to speed on your new fashion line. And folks, make sure you pick up these 2 books if you really need to or want to know more about, how to make it on social media. Samantha Zazz, thank you so much for being with me, and good luck.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on here. And make sure to check out zazzify.com.